It's 5 a.m. Your eyes are heavy, throat is dry, and you contemplate rolling back into your warm, cozy bed. Wake up early, they said. You'll be more productive, they said. In the moment, you probably thought this was a good idea. Extra time to get things done, a chance to write out that perfect to-do list, and most importantly, being able to brew the most precise, optimal cup of coffee. We could all use an extra hour or two in the mornings, but are you willing to wake up early for it? Are you willing to sacrifice sleep dreams for real-life dreams? While most people's immediate response will be yes, far too often we find ourselves doing the exact opposite. Hiding under the sheets, turning off the alarm, and running away from discomfort. It's that discomfort which strengthens you, makes you better as a person, and in this case, wakes you up early. So for the past 30 days, I decided to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. Here's how it went. Alright, so as you can tell, I've been putting a lot of thought into my sleep and the time I wake up in the mornings. A few weeks ago, I released a video on my new and improved morning routine. At the time, I was trying to figure out the habits that make me the most productive in the mornings. And I think that we can all agree that a strong morning routine is a great way to set up your day for success. Now, this got me thinking, what if I had more time to start my day off with better habits? For example, I usually wake up at around 6 or 6:30, depending on the time I got to bed the night before. And if I were to wake up at, say, 5 a.m., I would have an entire hour to myself to work on those positive habits that I want to ingrain into my lifestyle. This could be the difference between finding enough time to fit in a workout or just being able to spend some time alone to think. If you are someone that wants to make a change in your life and become a morning person, there are a few tips that I have which will make the transition a lot easier. The first thing you need to do is ask yourself, why do I want to start waking up early? Now, this seems like a no-brainer of a question, but your reason why needs to be very specific. The reason for this is because there will inevitably be days where your mind will try to persuade you into going back to bed rather than getting out of bed. It's actually kind of incredible how annoying and frustrating it is to fight your own thoughts. You need to make sure those thoughts don't dictate your actions, because your body always just wants to do and avoid discomfort. It's so easy to say to yourself, just 5 more minutes, or I'll get up in a bit, I just need a little bit more sleep. And this is where your reasoning for early mornings comes in handy. You can use it as a reminder to overcome your thoughts of sleeping in. I know for myself personally, my schedule is absolutely jammed. There's so many tasks and responsibilities and things I need to take care of on a daily basis that I need to make sure I manage my time properly in order to get everything done. So my reasoning for waking up early is so that I can give myself that extra amount of time to work on my passion, which is creating these videos, which in turn kind of internalizes fear in my mind that if I don't get up early, then I'm not going to have any time to work on the things I love. And that's what gave me that little bit of extra motivation I needed to jump out of bed and get my day started. Once you figure out your reason, the next step in becoming an early morning person is to acclimate your sleeping schedule with the time you want to wake up. For me, this was fairly easy since I usually wake up at around 6. Waking up at 5 a.m. wasn't too drastic of a change for me. However, if you are someone that, say, normally wake up at 9, for example, then waking up at 5 is going to be absolutely brutal. That's a 4-hour time difference, which is probably too big of a leap to make in the beginning. Instead, I would highly recommend making a gradual shift to early mornings instead. For example, for the first week, try waking up every day around 30 minutes earlier. So in the case of 9 a.m., somewhere around 8:30. Then the following week, try waking up at 8 and then 7:30 after that, and keep going in 30-minute intervals until you reach your desired time. This way, you're giving your body the best chance to adapt to your new early morning schedule, and hopefully turn this new habit into an actual discipline. Aside from the struggles of getting myself out of bed, the only real challenge I faced was trying to get to sleep at a reasonable time. Alright, so it's 11:20 right now, and as you can see, it's pretty dark out. And this is a problem that I've been having recently with getting to bed at an early enough time in order to wake up at 5. Now, waking up at 5 isn't really a problem because you have an alarm clock which you can set, which forces you to wake up. But you can't really set an alarm that will force you to go to sleep. Sure, you can set a notification at, say, 9 o'clock as a reminder to go to sleep, but you can't really do anything to force you to fall asleep. Now, the past couple days, I had a good rhythm going where I was in bed and asleep by around 10:15. So I was getting a solid 7 hours of sleep, which was, it was working out pretty good. But today, things just didn't really work out as planned, and I'm getting to bed at a lot later time than usual. So tomorrow is definitely going to be a struggle. So far, the hardest part of this 30-day challenge has been just winding down, relaxing, and trying to get myself in a position to fall asleep at an early enough time. So I'm going to head to bed now, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. Alright, so as you can see, everyone is still sleeping and it's really dark outside. Now, the one thing about waking up super early that's kind of annoying is just getting up out of bed and getting downstairs. But once you get through that hard part of the discomfort of leaving your warm bed and just waking up early and starting your morning routine, it actually ends up being pretty nice. And having a nice cup of coffee in the morning is, I don't know, it's always relaxing. Alright, so let's get the day started. What really worked for me during these early mornings was having the mindset of attacking the day and not just going through the motions. There's an old saying in sports that I heard a long time ago, and it's kind of always stuck with me. The harder you work when nobody's watching, the less you bleed when it's time to perform. I've always kept those words with me and used them as a reminder to push myself. If you're going to wake up at 5 a.m., then you need to be doing something with that extra time. The fact that you woke up at 5 isn't an accomplishment in itself. Nobody is going to care about that. And what's strange is I had all these weird thoughts and ideas in my mind that for some reason I thought as if I was better than other people because I was up early doing something and they were still sleeping. I would tell myself I'm being more productive, I'm more dedicated than they are. And when I stopped and looked at what I was doing, the majority of my time was spent sitting at my kitchen table, drinking coffee, and playing games on my phone. So how does that make me any better than anyone else? It doesn't. In reality, it could actually make me kind of worse. I could have been getting a full night's sleep, but instead I'm waking up early to do what? Procrastinate and waste my morning doing trivial things on my phone? The whole point of this challenge was to give myself that extra time in the mornings to work on the things that can better my life. And during that first week, far too often I caught myself relaxing and not being assertive with my time. As the days went by, I made small adjustments to my mornings and reduced the amount of time I spent playing games and browsing social media on my phone. This realization was huge for me because I started to notice whenever I had more time to get something done, my urgency started to fall off. Eventually, I created a system where the first 20 minutes of my day was spent easing into things. This was mostly spent on getting dressed, going to the washroom, drinking water, brewing coffee, and then only spending a few minutes on my phone. But as soon as 5:20 a.m. hit, I'd force myself to stop everything I was doing and I'd go straight to work. On most days, this was spent writing. Now, this is kind of going to differ from person to person, but what I've noticed about myself is that I feel the most creative and productive first thing in the morning. I'll have a warm cup of black coffee and get into this flow state where I fully immerse myself in my work, and it's the silence in my house which gives me this ability of extreme concentration. There's no noise, no interruptions, no distractions, and I couldn't ask for anything better. Alright, so there are a few things that I've learned since becoming a morning person. The most important factor for myself, 100%, is energy. My energy levels are at their highest early in the mornings. I feel the most motivated, energetic, and engaged somewhere between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. And as the day goes by, I can feel my energy levels slowly decline. This is not going to be true for everyone. I know a lot of people who feel their best at night, and that's when they try to get the majority of their work done, which is great. You need to find the schedule that works the best for your lifestyle. But if you never experiment and try new routines, then it's going to be very difficult to find a schedule that's optimal for you. Take working out, for example. I enjoy exercising and lifting weights, so it's very easy for me to get in a workout in the afternoon or later in the day. However, if you are someone that struggles with going to the gym, then you are probably better off planning that session earlier in the day. Get it done first thing in the morning so that the "I'll do it later" mentality doesn't formulate in your mind. As soon as you get those thoughts of blowing off your workout and leaving it for later, the more likely that you'll never do it at all. So if you are struggling with adding structure to your life, try adopting an early morning routine. Spend that extra time on the things you know will absolutely improve your life and tackle them head on. Get those things done first. Make them priority number one, and don't be afraid to experiment. But also be mindful of your time. We all have 24 hours in a day, but it's those people who fully utilize every hour that truly become the most successful. I'm trying to become one of those people, and I hope you are as well. Thanks for watching.